This is the Retirement Mentality channel. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. And if you're returning, I hope that means you found value in one of my previous videos and you're coming back for more content. So thank you for returning. This is the Retirement Mentality channel, and this is where we want to change your mentality about retirement. Retirement doesn't happen the way that it used to when your parents retired. You don't work for 60 years and get the gold watch and get an annuity and a pension and all the ways they used to do it. Now we need to create passive income. We need to build wealth quickly and amass great fortunes or get rental properties or find ways to pay us for the rest of our lives. And that is what this channel is about. It's about achieving financial independence and reaching retirement. Even parts, we talk a little bit about the FIRE movement. We talk about real estate investing, entrepreneurship, vacation rentals, all kinds of good stuff. So if those are topics that interest you, you are in the right place. Welcome. For those of you who have been here before, you may notice this looks a little different. I took my fake barn door backdrop down and I was trying to cover up these pink walls, but I live in the Caribbean, so I thought maybe I should just embrace it. So we got some new lighting going on here. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you like this or if you want me to go back to the fake backdrop or figure out something else. We're just trying to always improve, make it a little better. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you do find value in this content, please also consider hitting the like button down there. We do work hard on these videos, and just a simple like and a simple subscribe really goes a long way to help us out. So thank you for that. For today's topic, I even wore my Hawaiian shirt. Yes, Hawaii is part of the US, but it's very festive. And I thought this would be the perfect outfit for this video. Okay, sales pitch over. Today's topic, it's a touchy one sometimes. Should you? Do you want to? Is it time to? Are you considering moving out of the US? Oh, what blasphemy do I speak of? I know, but believe me, some people do it. Some people consider it. This isn't a political video. This isn't a red versus blue, a Biden versus Trump. I'm not gonna get into any of those topics. But I know a lot of people, and I don't even think a lot of people this time around are talking about leaving because of the election. But I do hear people talking about leaving because of taxes, because of mismanaged states, because of things going on where they live. People definitely are moving around. They're leaving California. They're going to lower tax states, and people are really starting to look at their options. I'm not even going to get into the debate of the U.S. is the best state or the best country in the world. You can look at statistics, you can look at education statistics, you can look at cost of living statistics, you can look at tax statistics, corporate tax rates, healthcare statistics. The US doesn't rank number one in basically any of these categories. Being able to, increase your socioeconomic status, yeah, maybe we're very good at that. But for those people who have already acquired some wealth and are looking to protect assets to lower taxes, there's other places in the world that might treat you a little better. There's another guy who has a channel whose kind of slogan is go where they treat you the best. And that's something that more and more people are starting to look at. So that's what we're going to discuss in this video. If it's a topic that interests you, then please follow along and we're going to get into it right now. First, let's just start out talking about the logistics of leaving the United States. It's way more difficult than you might think. It takes a lot of planning, a lot of preparation, getting rid of almost everything that you own, leaving family, leaving friends. That's why most people don't do it. The idea sounds great and they start looking at the logistics of it and they just go, I can never do this. It's too difficult. I moved to a beautiful paradise, Caribbean island, but I'm in the US Virgin Islands, so still, it's a U.S. territory, so I didn't need visas and work permits, and I didn't need to do a lot of the things that you do if you're actually leaving the U.S. Country to go to another country. So just the logistics of just leaving behind, you're moving on an airplane or a boat, so you're going to be limited on what you can take. You can take shipping containers and things. That's a whole nother video. I did a video on my other channel called How to Beach over here called Moving to a Caribbean Island. If you're interested, go check that out and subscribe to that channel. That video has like 10,000 views, but my channel only has like 500 subscribers. So let me send a little bit of love over to my other channel called How and the number 2 Beach. Besides the logistics and the pain in the ass of just getting up and moving out of the country, That's what this, I wanted to focus more on, like the tax and the income ramifications. If you're going to retain your U.S. citizen, which more than likely you are, because you're going to want to probably come back and forth and visit family or kids or grandkids or whatever. So you're going to retain your U.S. citizenship more than likely, and the U.S. taxes you on your worldwide income. So if you're trying to escape the U.S. to get lower taxes, well, newsflash, the U.S. still tax you if you live in Spain or Croatia or Tanzania or wherever. The U.S., you're still going to have to file a U.S. tax return. You're still going to pay taxes on your. So some countries have reciprocal deals set up where you don't have to pay taxes on your income in Tanzania and the U.S. Tanzania, I don't know if they have the agreement or not, but some countries have deals worked out. So you really need to do the research, narrow down the countries that you think you want to move to, and then look to see if they have sort of reciprocal tax benefits to make sure you're not going to get taxed in two countries on the same income. Like for instance, I'm looking at buying a house in Spain. And one of the things that Spain does is they tax you on your worldwide assets. So if you have over $750,000 in assets, they're going to hit you with the tax on that. So there's a lot of nuances to look at, and you're really going to have to get a tax professional or some sort of relocation expert in the place that you're looking to move to. Newsflash, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax attorney, so I'm not giving you financial advice. My advice is find a professional where you're looking to go to and get professional advice on that. But I'm just putting thoughts in your head of what you need to think about prior to actually trying to leave the US. Puerto Rico could be another good option. It's sort of like USA light. It's still, it's in the Caribbean. They have great weather, but they still have some issues down there with corruption, with like the US doesn't, right? But their power grid still has some problems. They lose power a lot. They're working on that infrastructure. Their roads are not great. They're working on the roads. There's lots of road construction going on there every time I'm there. But there's potholes you could lose your car in sometimes. So it's kind of like USA light, but the tax benefits, Puerto Rico has a lot of tax benefits. So if you want to move your company down there, you could end up paying a 4% corporate tax rate. Yeah, that's right, 4% corporate tax rate. And if you are a day trader, a Forex trader, if you're, you're into stocks, cryptocurrency, any of those things, if you live in Puerto Rico over six months and 1 day and you meet some residency requirements, you could pay 0 capital gains tax on your trading. So that's called Act 60, covers both of those things. I just did another video. I'll link to it up here or here. I think it's here. On my thoughts on what would happen if Puerto Rico actually gets statehood. Joe Biden says he would like to turn Puerto Rico into the 51st state. The Puerto Ricans just had a referendum and voted for it. Not that many people showed up and voted on that. But if they do become a state, I think those tax incentives would go away. So that's something to consider if you're looking at moving there. Maybe there's some people who think it will never happen in our lifetime, and there's some people that think it could happen next year. So that's something to look and do a little bit more research on as well. The Virgin Islands has similar tax incentives for people that want to bring businesses here. You have to hire more employees than you do in Puerto Rico, and there's a little bit more to it, but there are also some tax incentives for moving a business into the Virgin Islands. They don't have the capital gains tax incentive like Puerto Rico has, but there are some other things in the Virgin Islands. So if you want to sort of get out of the States and get away from a lot of it, but still be connected to the States, the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico could be a good choice for you. But the cost of living is a lot higher in the Virgin Islands than it is in Puerto Rico, especially housing costs. Food costs, gas costs, everything's more on the Virgin Islands. So depending on your financial status, that's something to consider. If a lot of people who are leaving are looking for something cheaper, but some people who are looking to leave are just looking for a change of scenery or tax benefits. There's a lot of reason people leave. Not everybody wants to move to Cambodia to try to live on $500 a year. That's an option, but you're not going to have a USA lifestyle. A lot of people see these videos on YouTube about, living in Thailand or the Philippines or Vietnam on less than, on $500 a month or less than $1,000 a month. And you can do that, but you're not going to live a lifestyle that you're accustomed to with air conditioning and your own vehicle and health insurance and a lot of the things that you expect to have. So if you want to have a typical Western lifestyle in these less expensive places, it's more expensive than you think. There's other videos that people do that are more realistic than just the how to live super cheap in another country. But you also, like I said before, you got to worry about visas and work permits and those things. You got to be able to legally stay in those countries. Most countries are relatively easy to get into. Depends on the country. Some are more difficult, like New Zealand is a tough one to get into. I think Australia is getting a little bit harder, but there's lots of places, and there's lots of places off the radar that you may not have thought about, like Bulgaria and Bolivia. If you really want to live cheap, you can go to Bolivia. Ecuador is a good one in South America. There's a lot of places on the planet that a lot of people haven't thought of. If you start doing some digging, you'll find some really cool places out there that you may not have thought of. Another thing to look for, if you do have some money and you're looking to protect assets, are golden visas. Places like Portugal or Turkey, or I think it's St. Lucia, have some golden visa programs where you can essentially, either buy real estate. Maybe some of the countries start around 300,000, some might start around 500,000. You buy a piece of real estate and you can get residency or a visa. In some countries, with the golden visa, you can just pay a fee to the country, maybe $100,000, maybe $200,000, and gain residency and gain a visa. So those are some options. And with the world being able to clamp down and shut down the way that it did, I'm starting to become a big fan of trying to figure out how to have multiple visas. So if you had a house in the US and a house in Europe, or one in the Caribbean, or one in an Eastern Bloc country or somewhere, if you have a European visa, you could travel more freely on one side of the world. And if you have a US visa, you may be able to travel more freely somewhere else. So I think having multiple visas, if you can afford to live that lifestyle, or you're looking to have multiple residences, is a very important topic to start looking into. Another very important thing to consider is the safety, not only of your person, but of your money. A lot of these places you can put, some places you can buy bonds, or you can deposit money into their banking system to get some of these visas or to get residency. But some of these countries' banking systems and bonds might not be as safe as in other places. So you really need to do your due diligence if you're planning on putting money into their banking system, or buying bonds or municipal bonds or any of that sort of stuff. Those are options to leave this country to go to another country, but they could be a little bit more risky, and lots of people have lost money that way. So really dig in on that one and look into the safety of your money. This video is getting a little bit longer than I anticipated. So, there's Panama is a good option. They have good visa programs. They have good healthcare. Ecuador is another good one. Mexico actually is getting better and better. That's a place I'm looking at for a future property purchase, possibly. So I'm not going to dig in too deep on any of these countries or any more than this. This is just sort of a preliminary, like, what sort of thoughts you need to have in your head if you're even considering moving out of the country. Leave me a comment down below if you want me to dive deeper into any of these topics. Leave me a comment down below if there's a country that you're thinking about that I didn't mention here, or you have any other questions. I try to answer all of the comments in my comment section. At this point, I have not that many viewers still, or subscribers, so I can still answer everybody's questions. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, help me out with that, and I will help you out with answering any of your questions. And thank you again for your support, and I will see you in the next video.
Please subscribe.